Welcome to Toronto Today Show. I'm your host, Jay Stoyan. You're in for a special presentation as today we are interviewing the candidates for Toronto, the mayor candidates for Toronto. We're very excited. As on the set today, we have Gord Cohen. Gord, thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks for the opportunity to get my message across.
This is great. This is great. We're very excited as our community is really keen on what's going on in Toronto. Obviously, with John Tory leaving, maybe we'll talk a little bit about John. Okay. Maybe not, right? But again, we're here with Gord. We're really excited. So what we want to do, Gord, is we just want to go through a little bit of a past, present, future, and what your telltale list for what you're going to do for Toronto. So first of all, where did you get the inspiration to run for Mayor Toronto?
So my fascination with politics has been the background of politics, understanding how things work. So up until recently, there was never really a venue for me to get involved in what I really wanted to do. Change in the mayorship, opportunity comes up, and I go, now's the chance to get my message across, how I think I can make a difference to the people of Toronto.
So give us those 3 message points in 3 points, please, like 3 PowerPoints.
So there's 3 PowerPoints. There's actually 103 PowerPoints that everybody's talking about, whether it's TTC, whether it's housing, whether it's healthcare. It's all about what we can do, but the truth is we have a great city that we're working with today, but I want to deal with the stuff we can do with now, which is working with healthcare. How do we change the way the government finances or works with healthcare, because the red tape is unbelievable. Same thing with security. There are 60 million riders on the TTC every year. There's 5,000 police officers. It's an unbelievable number for the amount of police officers to monitor this on a regular basis. We can fix it, but it's going to take time and maybe different ways of looking at it. The affordable housing issues, we have so much immigration coming in that we don't really know how we can keep up with it, because hundreds of thousands of people are coming in and we can't build fast enough, which means it takes too long to be able to get the zoning and get the developers to build it. And I think we could fast track certain opportunities.
So in a nutshell, what do you think is wrong? What is broken in Toronto right now, and why is it broken?
Well, we've been having the same system for so long. Technology has changed so many avenues in our business, but for some reason, politics and the way the government is run hasn't updated to today's avenues.
Because Toronto's one of the largest cities in North America, right?
Fourth largest city.
Yeah, we generate so much revenue. Our population is not like other major cities, right? We're still not like 20 million like New York City and all, whatever, LA. And so we're still relatively low, but for some reason, we're always scrambling to fill the budgets and to find extra cash to take care of the people of Toronto.
So the question is, where does this cash come from?
Or where does it go?
Well, that's the problem. That one of the reasons why I wanted to be the mayor of Toronto is I think Torontonians need more clarity how the money funnels in and where it funnels to, as opposed to just coming in and out, because no one's told anything. So much money comes from the federal government to the provincial government to the city municipalities of Ontario, Toronto being the largest in Ontario. I'd like Torontonians to understand, okay, we have this much money, this is budgeted for this is budgeted for that. We're telling them because the people of Toronto have no clue. It's okay to tell them, we're not hiding anything.
No, I want to touch on one of the subjects you said, and that was obviously about the crime factor in Toronto. So our community is obviously very vulnerable, persons with disabilities and veterans, because a lot of veterans are now disabled, right? So they count on law and order. Why is it reoccurring on a TTC all the time? And it's almost like it seems like it's the same crowd assaulting people. What is going on?
So the amount of crime that's going on is not really reported how much really is going on. When the news is jumping on the fact that it's TTC, but it's really everywhere in the city. Like I said, we only have 5,000 police officers, which monitoring everything is a challenge whatsoever. I think one of the challenges also for our police department is I think they've, not on their fault, but the people have lost their respect for a police officer, what they're supposed to do. They're there to protect us, to serve and protect us. And they do that, except no one talks about that they have done that. They only talk about the stuff that really happens and why aren't the police there?
Let me ask you this now, just change subject a little bit. We're working right now, our platform is working on right now on trying to support seniors.
Yes.
I have 2 parents that are, one's 90 and one's 86, and without me in their life, they they'd be in a lot of trouble. And they still get people to come in to take care of them. And how would you recommend taking care and respecting our seniors who dearly deserve it and just don't get it? I just see so many sad stories with seniors today.
So if our government is funding our health care, one of the challenges we have is how do we bring in more immigrants to be able to help our society with seniors or any other aspect of it. They could do that, but there's no financial help to people like you who need help to help their parents because money's tight with everything we do today. The government should be able to say we're allocating X amount of dollars. If you're self-taking care of your parents, there should be a fund set up for everybody in the city to say, okay, I take care of my parents, I'm still working, I'm still managing everything, but the budget's tough. Can we get some help from the government? Now knowing how much money comes in, can there be X amount of dollars allocated to the people who want to take care of their parents? Because we live in a world of full circle. Our parents took care of us.
Yeah.
They did everything we're supposed to do. We signed up for that. Now the world has changed. Now they're following issues that they have to deal with, and not our job, not our responsibility. You have to want to give back to your parents because they gave you everything.
That's
they
right.
worked, they did everything for you, and then one day you went off to the world, and later on in life, as they have their challenges, it's now time to say, don't forget about me, I helped you get to where you are. So money from the government,
Yep.
which I don't have that answer, but I do have the answer by saying that money that could come from the government, if we knew where the money is going, is there money we could allocate to that for people who want to help their parents?
That's a great answer. There's a little bit more. It's a to-effect question. Is capitalism, do you think Toronto should be run like a business?
Well, I have no political experience.
Okay.
And I've told that when my platform comes out. But our city needs to be run more like a business. And it's not. And a business is run at profit and loss. And we lose every year from our budgets.
Okay.
We need to understand, going back to talking to Torontonians, how the money comes in, where it goes, what can we do? Can we work closer with the private sector to help them join us to help make more money with our city? It's like taking a piece of land that Toronto owns. It's zoned for a condo site. So instead of just selling it to a condo developer, say to the condo developer, he's paying this much money, we're going to do a joint venture with you. We're going to give you the zoning, but now we're going to share in the upside. And the city that shares in the upside now takes that money and they can allocate it to the different avenues that's more important to the city. And we're leaving, I'm not even going to say how crazy number that is, off the table. Whether it's for condo development or industrial development or retail, doesn't make a difference. There's money left on the table because it's not run as a business. It's just run that we want to sell something, 17 bids, the highest bidder gets it. Which is fine and dandy. The city's not selling it for less. They're just saying we need to be part of it because they leave lots of money on the table that can go back to the choices we make, whether it's healthcare, infrastructure, seniors. The list is endless. There's a book of 50 pages and 100 lines per page. We could fill it up all day long.
Good, because I think, I always say if a country or a city or a state is run like a business, and if the business is successful, like you hope it would be, then you have more opportunity to provide for the people in that city. It's just common sense. And then, so let me go on the reverse side, and we have a question from one of our students' audience members, and he asks, what is your stance on implementing a universal basic income? What do you see the pros and cons doing this?
That's going into a different avenue altogether.
It is.
That's going into, we kind of have a country of, democracy where you can make a lot of money or you can't make a lot of money. But the people who make, an example of that would be if everybody makes the same money, if the builder wants to build something and it's 4 towers and he's making X amount of dollars, he's putting up his own money to take this risk. But he also has hundreds of families who work to do this project to make money for them to live. If we just make it simply everybody makes the same amount of money, it would be chaos. Because the people who have money make more money who help the economy. And that's what pushes us to have the healthcare we have, the roads that we have.
So let me ask you about small business owners. What would you do for the first-time small business owner or the first-time homeowner who just can't afford a house anymore?
So I might argue that statement about the first-time homeowner because for some reason that there are people still buying homes for the first time.
Who?
The people who have worked
I don't know
for the
anybody.
last...
Okay, I don't know anybody in their 20s buying homes.
I didn't buy a home when I was in my 20s.
I did because I could afford it.
Right.
Right?
the
But
world-
and the house wasn't $500,000.
Can't change, the past has already happened. We can't change it. The future's not here yet. I want to deal with today. The prices to build are X. No one can change those prices. But if you have a niece who bought a house in Scarborough and they bought it, they saved money for 12 years and they bought their first house, it was under $1 million and they scraped and they did it. It can be done. It's not easy. And since we've changed the pricing of houses, it's gone up and interest rates have like fourfold what they used to be over a year and a half ago, it's making it more difficult. We have to do what we can. We can't subsidize anything, excuse me. The government can't subsidize anything because they have no money in their budget. Because if they subsidize that, then they'd have to subsidize everything, whether it's healthcare, other opportunities.
We're here with Mayor candidate Gord Cohen. Gord, thanks for being on the show today. I want to ask you this question, and this is where it comes into the Perk World. Now, if you were the mayor of Toronto, would you cater to the NBA, NHL, NFL, like where they want to come in, but they all want, you know, like in the States, I want a new stadium, Arizona, build me one. Like, how would you deal with the rich owners with deep pockets who are going to be all over you about they want their perks when they come to Toronto?
But they're getting their perks whether I'm the mayor or not, because it's not it's a mayor thing. Somebody coming into Toronto, somebody coming into Ontario. I can't rationalize spending $1 billion on a stadium when we know that $1 billion can go towards, I can't even tell you where that list begins. Healthcare, seniors, women's shelters, kids' lunches. The list is endless because there's so many needed of it. It's almost like saying the infrastructure money that comes in, if we didn't do something for a little bit and save some of that money, we could do a lot more with it.
Let me ask a couple more questions,
Sure.
and I think we're almost done now. So what is your view, how would you support our community, the disabled and veteran community, especially like, give us some real good stuff here.
So being an entrepreneur, I can tell you that the toughest part is finding someone to work with us, not for us. I think the challenges you have is what we can do is educate what the business owners want. And if we can educate the business owners and join the communities together, there's a better chance of that happening, because I've never been approached by anybody with disabilities to look for a job. But if the community that you work with say we're going to go to all these small businesses or even large businesses, it doesn't cost nothing to be kind to ask the questions.
Well, let me just add to that. Like, this is what we do here at the Disability Channel. So we run employment programs and media for persons with disabilities and veterans. And then when they graduate, we either hire them here on a channel or we outsource them to great corporations like Cogeco, to Paramount, to the Star, to Bell, Cogeco, SiriusXM. So that's what we do. So just what Gord was saying, we're here. We would love for you to experience hiring a qualified person with disabilities or veterans for your office, either in media or administration. We got lots of talented graduates who are just chomping at the bit for an opportunity like everybody else. Right? Just want an opportunity like everybody else. So Gord, I really thank you coming on the show today. If people want to find out more information, could they go anywhere?
Well, the website will be up, mayorgordcohen.com. That'll be up in a day or so. I signed up April the 3rd. I've spent the last month educating myself before I wanted to present what I really want to work with, because there was so much work to find out and now I know what not to do.
Well, that's great, Gord. I really appreciate being on the show today. Again, you're watching the Toronto Today Show. I'm Jay Stoyan. We'll see you next time.
Stay healthy.
Thanks, Gord.
My pleasure.